Hello and welcome to Mammon, Mike and Mike on Mike, a podcast where two Mikes talk about their top fives. Today we're talking about our top 5 animated adult TV shows, which I think we've added in. We had a whole pre-planned list, didn't we? And then just went, fuck it, this sounds like a good topic.
Yeah, it's because I'd made a claim that there's a lot of American adult TV shows out there, or when I say American sort of language, American made, not sort of Japanese manga or anime or anything like that, because I'm not really into that. That I can probably just name random ones and have quite an obscure list. So I thought, why not?
It's interesting to say that. Have you tried anime?
I've attempted loads in the past. I've attempted recently on Netflix Castlevania, but I just can't get into it.
I've heard there's some really good ones, like Full Metal Alchemist and stuff.
Yeah.
I watched the first season of Attack on Titan. That was pretty good.
Yeah, again, another one I've heard's good. One Punch Man's meant to be good. Yeah, there's meant to be a lot of good ones, but I don't know. But even when me and you, previously, before COVID, because it feels like so long ago since we did it, but our top 100 films, like Howl's Moving Castle and, what was the other one? Spirited Away. I just didn't get them.
Yeah. I don't know, I like it from a storytelling point of view, because I think it was quite unique, but I think it's one of those that the more you watch, the more you'll get used to like certain things. Like one of the things seems to be like overreactions to stuff.
Yeah.
Like some of it's not subtle, or some of it's really subtle, like some of the violence and stuff like that. But some of the comedy is like really out there.
Yeah, it's not. It's just we just have a different culture. That's all it is, isn't it?
Yeah. But like I say, I think I've watched a bit more than you. It sounds like with that. So I think it is. I think the more you watch it, you just almost become tone deaf to it. If you know what I mean, you ignore that part to focus on the good stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to watch more. To be honest, the ones I've watched in the past are the only one I've really watched in the past is a vampire one called Hellsing, and that's the only one really I've watched.
Well, maybe there you go. There's our challenge for next year to do this with top 5 animated. Well, anime.
Top 5 animes. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be like, top 5 animated anime. Right. How's your week been?
It's been alright. It's been 2 weeks now. We've had a little break, haven't we? Sorry about that, guys.
Our first break.
Us. Yeah, so welcome back to season 2.
It was an accidental break as well.
Yeah, we just completely ran out of time and realised we couldn't fit a recording session in.
Yeah, we both mostly me probably. I probably fucked up, but it was just busy time, wasn't it?
I think I was on late shifts as well, so there was only a certain amount of days that I could do.
I reckon we'll steamroll through the summer.
Yeah. Annoyingly, I'm working all of the half term.
Yeah, you're selfish.
Yeah.
But on the bright side, it means I can completely, within reason, work around you. Because I've only got like 4 days that I'm busy.
Yeah. 4 days you're busy? Oh, what? Complete days. Well, we'll just have to do evening sessions.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way. How's your week been?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
I'm half term, so I'm looking forward to just not having an alarm set. Isn't that like the worst thing ever? You know, like 5 years ago, I would have had like loads of plans for my half term, and I want to do this, and this, and now it's just, no alarm.
Do nothing.
What a treat.
Well, I've set no alarms for the past 3 months. Having a baby that wakes up at anywhere between 7 and 8, you know when you're waking up. He is pretty like clockwork, to be fair.
That's quite good.
Yeah.
And who needs sleep's overrated, right?
Tell me about it. Never felt so fresh.
But are you getting used to like how little sleep you function on now?
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel I'm getting more sleep.
Do you?
Right now, Lauren is currently in bed. We're recording this at 8:30. She went to bed at 8 o'clock. He's asleep, and this is like the routine. Normally, it's me that takes him to bed and falls asleep up there. But bed 7:30, 8 o'clock, fall asleep, wake up the next morning at sort of 6:30, 7. Like, we can't complain about sleep.
You've jinxed yourself now. You've fucked
I know.
It.
Where's all the wood? Touch wood, all of the wood.
Right, should we kick it off then?
Well, yes. Before we get started, I was going to say I did a little poll on Facebook and Instagram on people's favourite adult animated TV show, and I'm intrigued if any of these make the list. So, in at number 1 for the general public was South Park.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have put that.
I wouldn't have thought South Park, to be honest with you. I would have guessed.
I would have said 2. Family Guy without a shout.
Right, what do you think number 2 is then?
Family Guy, surely.
Simpsons.
Oh yeah, is that adult though? I guess
Yeah,
so.
I think it is. It's not for. It is for kids, but it's also got that adult element to it. Number 3.
Family Guy.
Yeah. Number
Didn't have to
4.
be. American Dad.
Yep. And we'll go with number 5.
Rick and Morty.
I do apologise. American Dad is number 5. American number 4 is something else.
And it's not Rick and Morty.
It's not Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty did not do as well as I expected.
What is it then? That surprises me. That.
Futurama,
Oh yeah.
which is a great show. So
Do you know what? Well, spoiler alert. Simpsons is on my list at all, and you know when I watch it now, makes me feel like physically ill for some reason.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really bizarre.
I know. I think I just watched so much as a kid.
See,
I've seen like some episodes. Probably, I reckon. No exaggeration. I reckon I've seen some episodes 20 times.
Yeah, I think that's a fair exaggeration as well. A fair unexaggeration. Lauren genuinely hates The Simpsons, and there's moments in my life when I try and reference it. You know, when just because it is so referenceable, isn't it? Like there's so many things.
Oh yeah, Shauna always says like everything's coming up Millhouse, for instance.
Yeah. But if I was to say that to Lauren, she'd like shrug her shoulders and be like, "I don't know what you're on about."
Has she never really watched it
she's
either?
never really watched. But I found this out, like her sister's not either. So it's obviously their household. It's just really weird.
So it wasn't. Maybe that's why you got married, because you were both obviously mentally abused by your parents who stopped you seeing certain things and doing things. What was it? What was it about your parents that
I don't know, but I remember you doing this now.
I'm really nervous to meet your parents, you know. Like, I'll be more nervous to meet your parents than any girlfriends, because I've just talked shit about your family.
Yeah. I've got another friend who I've previously talked about him in the podcast, but another friend, Tom, who genuinely hates The Simpsons, but not because of its animation. No, he doesn't hate The Simpsons. I do apologise. I got this story completely wrong. He absolutely loves The Simpsons, but absolutely hates tennis for no other reason than it used to take The Simpsons off BBC Two when Wimbledon was around.
Really?
And he legitimately hates tennis with an absolute passion because of that.
That's so interesting.
Which I love. Do you want to hear the least favourite animated TV shows?
Let's do it. Do you mean on the poll, I take it? Like,
yeah, on the poll, for the audience, yeah.
How many got 0?
2, these 2. And it's F is for Family, which isn't on my list, but if you've not watched it, I highly recommend it. It is great.
Never heard of it.
It's on Netflix. It's really a great animated TV show. It's based on... Who's the guy? Oh, it's going to really bug me now, because I feel like his name begins with B. He's a big stand-up comedian in America.
That narrows it down.
I know, right?
Eddie Murphy?
Guess who it is? Bill Burr.
Dave Chappelle? Bill
Burr. He stars as Frank Murphy, and I think it's sort of meant to be based on the life of his, like when he was younger. So it's set in the 1970s, sorry. But it's just a great little show, just about this family life. It's a classic American sort of sitcom, but highly recommend it for those who haven't watched it. It's not on my list. Shouldn't really be talking about it, but clearly no one else knows about it. And then the other one that got 0, which also again surprises me a little bit, but also not massively, was Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
God, I've never fucking heard of that.
Have you never heard of it? It's a bizarre show. It's about a meatball, a milkshake, and a bunch of American French fries, and they're just living in a house together, and they're hijinks.
The classic tale.
Yeah. But yeah, so those both got 0 points. What annoyed me is the fucking show of Hoops got 3 votes and scored higher than Close Enough and Solar Opposites.
I like to think it was Kim and Adam.
A protest vote.
The 2 of them, yeah.
I was messaging Kim afterwards because she couldn't decide what to vote for, Out of Paradise PD or Hoops. And she sent me a message saying, don't know what to vote for. And I said, basically, what this is showing is that me and her do not agree in the slightest about animated TV shows.
Hey, we're always learning things.
Right, so that's a little poll. I'm intrigued to see if any of these make our lists.
Well, you already know Simpsons isn't on mine, but other than that, let's see. Let's find out. I want to do an end of year blooper reel, because when this comes out, people won't know how much of a shit show this... I mean, I know we're quite famous for having a bit of a shit show, but this is truly spectacular.
So the audience has no idea that this is like third, fourth time that we've recorded me saying all of
I
that.
think
And I've given up.
I think we started an hour ago and we're not on top 5 yet.
Yeah, we did start an hour ago. It's just been it's because we had a week's break.
Yeah, we're out of sync. It's like we're starting again.
Yeah, it really is. I'm just going to triple check that I am actually recording. I am recording now. It's all good.
Okay.
Yeah, it is like we're out of sync, and I say we can only apologise, but actually the audience will never know.
Or will they? Like I say, end of season blooper reel of how bad it can
well,
get.
we can't have a blooper reel because I forgot to record.
Oh yeah, you are a piece of shit, Michael Ellingham.
It's just going to be your side, your one-ended conversation. Right.
Thank you for not being catty there and saying like it normally is. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Right, shall we get into this top 5?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, start us off.
My number 5 pick is a show called Ugly Americans. Yep, I'm guessing you've never heard of it.
No, I didn't hear it the first time we recorded this, and I've still not heard it.
Yeah, but I don't know how much you heard of me talking about it, so it's probably gonna be fresh.
Do you want me to try and explain it from the terrible audio quality that we got from last time?
Yeah, come on. So Mike's about to explain Ugly Americans to you guys the second time so what happened was the audio quality was absolutely atrocious. We're actually doing this via mobile phones now. We're not sure what's going on.
I think it was Wi-Fi connection on one of our ends, and we're not sure.
Yeah, yeah, not audio issues, but Wi-Fi issues. So we're doing it via the mobile phones. So yeah, we'll see how much Mike actually caught. What is Ugly Americans about?
They are ugly because they're monsters.
Yes. Monsters are involved.
And one of them turned himself into a zombie because a girl said she'd like him if he was a zombie. And then when he turned into a zombie, she then was like, actually, I don't like them.
Yeah, that did happen.
And then...
Anything else?
After that, I'm out.
Okay. So the actual focus of the show is Mark Lilly, who's a normal American guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he works as a social worker for the Department of Integration.
Mm-hmm.
So the people that he tries to integrate into... Well, it's Manhattan where they live, aren't just sort of immigrants from other countries. They're monsters and all sorts of bizarre creatures like a brain, literally a literal brain, a koala man, things like that. And it's just about the misadventures of everything that happens in this city. His boss is a demon. He's got someone that works with him who's a wizard. And his roommate, like Mike said, is a guy called Randall. And he became a zombie in an attempt to impress a girl, but it didn't really work.
Oh.
And it's quite a funny show. Highly recommend it. Only went on for 31 episodes, but it should have gone for longer, actually. It got quietly cancelled. It was one of those sort of shows. Yeah,
that's always sad about.
They never actually announced that it had been cancelled, but it just no more sort of became of it.
What was it on?
So yeah, that's Comedy Central.
Nice.
Yes. I think it's out of its syndication now by quite a distance. It was 2010 the show came out.
Hey, once we've got Hogs of War 2 back up and running, we'll start on that.
I am on a proper campaign trail to try and get Hogs of War 2.
Well, do you know,
We're still the only people who have hashtagged it. But
I've heard that they're making a new Time Splitters.
Have you?
Yeah, and genuinely, this is a fact. Apparently, they said it's because of our podcast.
Nice. Well, I thought that might have been the case.
That bit's a lie, but apparently there is a new Time Splitters coming out.
Nice. Well, we'll have to keep an eye out for that and do a live stream when it comes out.
Did we have an influence? Probably not, but in my head, we're the reason.
Just wait until Hogs of War 2.
That's it. We move. Talking of moving, shall we move on to number 4?
Do you want to do your number 5?
Damn it! Thought I'd got a good segue in.
Mate, we shouldn't have had this week's break. It's genuinely falling apart.
Right, yeah. I'm just checking, where's my...
Number 5?
No, I just want to check my honourable mention is, because I think I've messed up. Oh, right, there we go. Right, my number 5, because I'm a good human being, was on the...
By the way,
yes,
there is 2 shows that I'm really hoping you mention on this podcast, and I'll be really upset if we get to our number 1s and they haven't been mentioned.
No pressure.
I'm really counting on you here, Mike. I am really counting on you. So let's hear it, and I'll tell you at the end of the whole episode whether they've not been included, and then we'll have a chat about those 2, because I know for a fact we will.
Well, I think my number 5 was the listeners' number 1 on the poll, but because you actually, for listeners, that happened 5 minutes ago probably. For me, that was 45 minutes ago. So, was it Futurama?
No, that was number 4.
Oh, number 4 of our poll is my number 5.
Yeah, Futurama. Love it. Great show.
Yeah, it just...
Do you know what? The one show as well, in my opinion, that's got the perfect ending.
Yeah, but
And it nailed the perfect ending a few times as well.
Yeah, about to say, you want about the original ending?
I'm actually on about the new ending.
I've not seen... I don't think I've watched any of the new stuff.
Have you
No.
not? Okay, I'll let you talk about it. It's your show.
I just think, for, especially talking about like animated adult shows, this was the first time I feel like I've transitioned. Because for me, I know Simpsons technically is, but it's still a children's show as well. You know what I mean? Like, I watched it as a child. Whereas Futurama was the first time it made me feel, even though I was, I don't know, 12, 13 or whatever, made me feel like a bit more adult watching a show like that.
Oh, 100%.
Because a character like Bendy...
The jokes were hard and fast with the sort of innuendos in there sometimes, weren't they?
Yeah, well, not even just like innuendos. Like sometimes when it's like, that famous Bender line where he's like, I'm going to make my own whatever it is with, prostitutes and blackjack or whatever it is.
Yeah, episode 2 when they go to Mars.
Oh, God, you are a fan.
Yeah,
so, but there you go. So that's the second episode. You know what I mean? Like straight away, it's like it was these jokes. It was enough like Simpsons to be an easy transition, obviously, but it also had enough jokes that you felt like, ooh, I don't know if I should be watching this, and I feel a bit adult watching it.
Yeah, just so you know, because of you talking about that episode 2, I've now got Whalers on the Moon stuck in my head.
Well,
we're whalers on the moon.
I'm going to tell you,
carry our harpoon.
Can you just bring that song in every now and then, just in this episode?
Okay.
Some of the great episodes I remember, just like top of my head.
Yeah.
The Slurm episode that was basically Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I think...
Probably one of my least watched episodes, which is weird.
Really? Probably my most watched, I'd say. Then this one, which probably about another show... Well, I won't say it because it's one of my picks, but you'll maybe know from this. This creature is probably why I like another creature on another show that we've both watched. And that's the one with the poplars, I think they're called. These like fried chicken things.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park, obviously.
Oh, just tears every time.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
So that's the one, for those who don't recognise the title, that's the one with Seymour Fry's dog, which is just always waiting for him.
And then this one, I can't remember the name of it, and I don't know if it's the last episode or like, it's definitely the last season of the original last season.
Yeah.
With the devil who plays the violin, the metal devil thing. Is that the last episode?
Yeah, and he trades hands.
Yeah. Is that the last episode?
The last episode of the original series.
And like I say, I remember that to be a perfect ending, really emotional. Is there a big moment with Fry and Layla in that episode as well?
Yeah. At the end of the episode, he obviously gets his original hands back, and Layla asks... Leela, not Layla.
Oh, right.
Leela asks Fry to play I forgot what it's called, like something, the holophore or something like that.
Yeah.
Because it like makes a hologram, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And she asks him to play it. It's bad, but it just basically shows those two holding hands, and I think hearts play or they kiss or something like that. And it's just a really cartoonish image because it's Fry not being good at his playing anymore. But yeah, it's really nice and emotional. I agree.
And the moment that stands out for me most, rather than episode, is where is it Shmoo? What was it? Shmoo? With the Amazonians?
Oh, yeah, Snoo.
And it's the reaction where the captain and Fry, they're like, you're going to get Shmoo to death. They're like, cheer. They're both excited and worried at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. One of my favourite jokes from Futurama is from the holiday special, in which I think it's the holiday special where or there might be another incident where this happens, and they're trying to Bender's made his fake holiday, and they're digging down for oil, and suddenly a massive worm appears, and Professor Farnsworth goes, "Oh my god, it's the albino humping worm," and then suddenly the thing starts rocking, and Fry goes, "Why do they call it that?" And like I said, the thing that they're in starts rocking up and down, and Dr. Farnsworth goes, "Because it lacks pigment." I just really like that. Not referencing the humping bit,
yeah,
but
why albino. I just
really, really enjoy that joke.
I think the last thing I'll say, because it's just come back into my head as well, and I think it opens up nicely for me anyway for this episode, because I'm not as into animated shows as much as you, but I know some people are really not into it. Can only really watch live action. But what I'd say is, I think one of the beauties of animated shows particularly sci-fi animated shows, is they can just do things that you wouldn't have the budget to ever do in live action.
Exactly.
Or would just be ridiculous. Yeah. Like, when Bender becomes a god, essentially when that, like, civilization starts growing on him, like, you couldn't do that in live action. Like, one, it'd cost too much, and two, it would just look ridiculous. Whereas it worked really well on that, in that episode, in that show.
Yeah. And again, I can't remember the exact wording of the last line, but when God sort of gets him back to Earth, and it's like, sometimes you don't have to do anything to be sort of as good as you are. I can't remember the exact wording, but that's sort of like why, like, it's just a great allegory for sort of God and the fact that he doesn't have to necessarily be doing stuff for you to believe in him. And I think that was quite nice, even though I'm not religious in the slightest. It was just a nice little message.
Yeah. Well, it did tackle some big themes, though, didn't it? I think a lot of the shows I've picked do that, to be fair.
Yeah. No, 100% agree. No, solid number 5.
All right. And moving on to our number 4.
My number 4 is a show I've definitely told you to watch. I think you've watched a handful of episodes, and I don't think you could get into it, but I might be wrong. It's a mix of live action and animation, and it's Harmon Quest.
I started watching the first season, but I think I could only find like a dodgy copy. I couldn't get it on any streamer anywhere. And the quality wasn't great, so I stopped watching. But if that was on Netflix or something, I would have binged it all because I was really enjoying it up until that point.
Definitely needs to be. So for those who don't know, I'm sure most people would have heard of the main person in the show, Dan Harmon. It's his quest.
Or maybe not heard of him, but what he does maybe, if you give some examples.
He created, Community, Rick and Morty. Yep. Well, those are the two big shows really that he created. And what he's decided to do is film him his ex-wife, but at the time was his current wife, and then I think the second or third season they'd actually been through the divorce, and they handle it pretty well, I think. And his best friend Jeff Davis, and there's also always a celebrity guest as well, so some quite big names in there, like Elizabeth Olsen was a guest at one point, who plays Wanda from WandaVision. It's just who else? Nathan Fillion, he's quite a big guest that they've had. But just random celebrity friends that they sort of know. And they play Dungeons and Dragons, and it's sort of all done by the Game Master, Spencer Crittenden. And he sort of narrates and talks them through it. And they're all shit at the game. None of them know how to play Dungeons and Dragons. But that's what's quite fun about it. And when they're sort of doing the action, everything's animated. So the whole show is animated on sort of like showing what these characters are up to. And every now and again, it'll cut back to the live action. But it's just very, very well done. And actually quite a good story.
Do you know what as well? Like, I think to sell it, because that sounds okay, but the reason I ended up watching it, because I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons fan, or well, at least at that part, I've played a few times since we've had that conversation, and I've watched a bit.
Yeah.
But back then, I remember you telling me the story of how it came to be with the Dungeon Master. And that's what made me watch it. I was like, that's so cool. That's what made me want to watch it. So you want to explain that?
So Dan Harmon also hosts a podcast, Harmontown. And in one episode, he starts talking about how he'd love to get into Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like this. Spencer Crittenden's in the audience, and he goes, well, I know Dungeons and Dragons. And they start back and forth just chatting about Dungeons and Dragons while he's in the audience. Dan Harmon didn't know Spencer at this point, like literally nobody. And then a few future episodes, they start playing Dungeons and Dragons on the actual podcast, and with him doing it. And it's just a random guy he met in the audience of a podcast record that then got onto the podcast, and since then has made it quite big on TV as well.
Well, I just love that. I hope he listens to our podcast, because you start off saying really nice things about him, and you go like, oh, this is lovely that someone sort of knows who I am, is talking about me on a podcast. A big podcast, by the way. We officially played in more than 3 countries, so pretty much a big deal. But you say all these nice things, and then you're like, yeah, he's literally a nobody when he meets him.
Well, he's a nobody when he meets him.
No one cares about him, not even his family. And then he gets this opportunity.
But yes, it's a very good show. Highly recommend it. And even if you can't be asked to watch the show, listen to the podcast, because I've listened to just the Dungeons and Dragons version of the podcast. You can find it on YouTube, and even that's quite entertaining. But I'd say the show was far better. So
yeah, definitely
watch this animated show.
For me, that's what made it for me was the animations, and then the fact that it was like live action at the same time. It just really worked. Bit like the Page Master.
Yeah, but no. Yeah, it's one that they need to do more of, I think, this sort of style of thing, because it does work surprisingly well, doesn't it?
I think as well that that's a great way for people to break into Dungeons and Dragons. I think it's either completely, like people around a table talking podcast style, or it's, people have tried to make, like they're making a Dungeons and Dragons film, aren't they, currently?
Yeah.
Whereas to have that mix of it, I think, is nice because you get the flavour of what Dungeons and Dragons is, whilst also, I think you've got to be a pretty big fan to enjoy it as a non-Dungeons and Dragons fan, just listening to people talk about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But what also works for this, by the way, is it is a pure comedy. Like, it is hilarious to watch. There's a few heartfelt moments, but it is a comedy, so it's very funny watching and listening.
I think it's a nice mix as well, that even though, like the comedians, you feel like, oh, it's going to be stupid the whole time, they do take it fairly seriously at times, which helps it, I think.
Except for, I don't know if you ever got to Aubrey Plaza's episode, she just was her own chaos in it. She clearly made up the name of her character on the spot, Hawaiian Coffee. And she just goes around, her character needs bombs, and she just knows exactly what it's like. I'm going to open this door. It's like, you can't open that door. How can you open that door? And she's just like, 1, 2, 3. Look, it's open now. And because she just says it, Spencer just goes along with it because it's just funny. And she just basically just makes up her own rules playing the game.
So I think it works well then that the Dungeon Master is sort of got used to a bit, like you say, the chaos that goes on.
Oh yeah, he definitely is. So yeah, that's my number 4 choice.
Perfect. My number 4 choice is a lot more mainstream again. And again, I'm pretty sure it was on our poll. And it is South Park.
Oh yeah.
Now,
still,
South Park for me is, I don't really watch it that much anymore. Although a couple of months ago I wasn't feeling well. I just wanted something easy. So I just put South Park on. I think it's one of those things that you really like when you're younger because it's edgy. Again, it was something I watched when I wasn't old enough to watch, and it was so inappropriate for my age that it made it cool. I think a lot of kids are like that, and then I think when you get a bit older, when you can actually watch it, it's lost that appeal. But then something that I've noticed more since I'm older, like even thinking back to older episodes, or when I've like rewatched the odd one every now and then, is like the brilliance of it is how topical it is. Because of how cheap and easy it is to make the show, they can have episodes that are incredibly relevant what's going on in the world. Yeah. So like, as I think sometimes it loses, I don't think it gets enough respect sometimes for how much social commentary there is, because it can get lost in its sort of crass humour, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do get what you mean, and it's actually tackles some really good issues as well, I think, but like you say, it can be lost. People sort of shut it down saying, oh, it's just inappropriate, but actually, I think it does well what it does.
And I think as well what's really good is it doesn't have its own political agenda or religious agenda, like, it's, it's taking the piss out of every religion, every side of the American political side. Do you know what I mean? Like no one's safe. You can be a celebrity with a shocking past and they'll have a go at you, or you can be a celebrity who's actually a good guy and well loved and they'll still take the piss out of you. Like, they're.
Well, didn't they like the famous Scientology episode in which Isaac Hayes, who played Chef, was a famous Scientologist, and he sort of was sort of saying, no, you can't be doing this episode, and they just basically said, no, we can't sort of say no just because one of our friends does this. Like, we're going to be doing an episode about Scientology because it is absolutely batshit crazy.
Yeah, well, but I think all of them aren't they? If you look at it from a certain angle, and that's what it is. It's just poking holes at inconsistencies and funny things in it, and it creates conversation because of that.
I think they really shot themselves in the foot for the past 5 years because they made Hillary Clinton go up against Mr. Garrison. Mr. Garrison was essentially their version of Donald Trump, and I don't think they were expecting Donald Trump, much like a majority of people, oddly. They weren't expecting Donald Trump to win, and suddenly they'd lost one of their biggest characters in the show, because Mr. Garrison then had to go out to Washington to be actual... Did I say Prime Minister? I meant President. To be the President of America.
I know what you meant.
And that sort of... It lost its sort of... It tried to go into a lot of, in the more recent series... sort of, what's the word? Serial episodes. So like they'd be following on to each other, and like the whole season would have an overarching story. And I think that's when it started to lose it. But recently, I've watched. They've done 2 pandemic specials. They're on Comedy Central if you want to watch them. And actually, they're really quite funny. They're really good. Really recommend them.
Well,
what I love about it, like the exclusive hip club to be in, is only only the elderly go to it because obviously they've had their COVID vaccines and no one else is allowed to go into it, stuff like that. Like, it's really well done.
As well as love, as well as its cleverness. My favourite is just when they take something I love and base it around an episode. Like they've done a Lord of the Rings episode where their kids are taking back like a porno, but they don't realise it's porno.
And the fifth graders are after them, aren't
they?
Yeah,
exactly.
Like the orcs.
And then you've got the Black Friday episode, which I think was Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And then they've got this sort of weird hybrid episode. It's a bit like Stargate. If you used to watch Stargate show.
What's that episode?
That is 3-part called Imagination Land.
Oh, Imagination Land is fantastic.
That's genuinely great TV. Like, it's brilliant.
Yeah,
and that's the ones that I loved that were based around a film or a show, and that was the premise. Yeah, they do like sort of superhero ones, I think, where Cartman's kind of like a Batman character almost.
Yeah,
and
he's the coon.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, they're my favourites where it's based around something like that because it's just enjoyable watching. Because again, as always, they poke fun of whatever their film or TV they're paying homage to, or just completely ripping off.
Absolutely. One of my favourite episodes is the World of Warcraft episode.
Yeah, another great episode.
So well done. So well done.
And as someone who has played a little bit of, not much, but I've played a little bit of Lord of the Rings, not Lord of the Rings, World of Warcraft in the past.
World of Warcraft.
There was a lot of actual, it wasn't just taking the piss out of World of Warcraft, for people who aren't. Because I think that, that was a classic, wasn't it? People are geeks or whatever. Absolutely, back then, yeah. Whereas it was actually like for the fans as well, because it was like, taking the mick out of things that you'd only sort of know or appreciate if you'd actually played the games, and it's things that you will also be like, yeah, you're right, that is annoying. That's to me. I think that was again striking a balance of getting it for all parties was just brilliant within itself.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. No, great number 4 choice.
Right, let's switch to your number 3.
My number 3 is another show you definitely wouldn't have heard of. It's called Mike Tyson Mysteries.
That's our next one.
Is it actually?
Of course
it
number 3. Isn't.
The same. So we both know about this show. Do you want to tell the audience about it then, Mike?
Basic.
So Mike on Mike.
So Mike Tyson, in the very first episode, is eaten by his famous pet tiger, but his soul lives on the tiger, and so it's the show of this tiger, but actually it's Mike Tyson in its body.
That sounds pretty cool, but it's definitely not that.
I would watch that though.
I would watch that, but I'd also watch this, and I do watch this. So this show I'd completely forgotten about until I think my friend mentioned it to me. I was like, holy shit, it's a great show. And I don't think I've ever finished watching it. But I started rewatching.
Is this friend a friend of the show?
It is.
Who's this friend?
Carl.
Shout out to Tom.
Carl.
Yes. Carl. Sorry, Carl. Carry on.
Yeah, so Mike Tyson Mysteries it stars Mike Tyson and he plays himself. And I don't understand why he agreed to play himself because it's just absolutely humiliating. He's just basically
thick as shit.
Yeah, and the lines are clearly written for him to be thick as shit. So in episode 1, he has to go. There's something about beating up the Chupacabra, and he goes and beats him up, but he can't say the word Chupacabra, so he's always like the Chukamunga. I'm gonna go beat up the Chupacabra and stuff like that. It's like Chupacabra is a very difficult word for Mike to say, and it's just ridiculous. So it's about Mike Tyson, his adopted daughter, Young Hee Tyson, a pigeon who's actually a human but been cursed to turn into a pigeon sort of thing. So he's a pigeon now, but with human emotions. Much like what's another character like that? The pig from Disenchanted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, similar sort of characters like that. And then the Marquis of Queensberry, who's played by Jim Rash from Community, plays the Dean.
Oh yeah, I love him.
Yeah, and he's a flamboyant sort of ghost type character. But yeah, so it's just they get messages on pigeons for mysteries that they have to go and solve. And the second episode, what is it that happens? That's it. So they get a message that they realise is from an old IBM computer that says help, and they realise the IBM computer's at a chess tournament. It's going to be playing against another chess person, and so they go there to sort of try and work out the mystery. And I won't spoil the mystery and everything, but at one point, Mike Tyson's talking to a guy who says that he's a chess grandmaster. So Mike Tyson turns around and punches him in the face and knocks him out, saying that I'd agree to put down my fists, but I only said I'd put down my fists as long as I didn't ever encounter a time machine and Adolf Hitler was on the other side, or I came across the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. So basically, he thinks the chess grandmaster is the Grand Wizard, so he knocks him out. It's just absolutely ridiculous, the whole show, and Mike Tyson he comes across as an idiot, but actually, you know what? Fair play for him for doing the role. It's very, very funny. And each episode is only 10 minutes long as well. It's sort of stylized like an old Hanna-Barbera sort of cartoon. You know, like 1970s sort of mystery ones that they had.
Yeah. To be a bit of a negative Nancy here,
Mm-hmm.
Playing devil's advocate, because I've not thought about this enough to really formulate an opinion, so I'm going to throw you under the bus and make you commit one way or the other. If Mike Tyson was a famous boxer now, or just recently retired, he would never be allowed to do a show in comedies like this because of his past. I mean, he literally went to prison for was it rape?
Oh, yeah, no, I 100...
Do you not think it...
I completely
think
agree.
It's nuts
yeah.
because you're saying that, you know, when you were telling me all about it, I was just like, oh, that's so sweet. Like Mike Tyson, oh, it's so nice. He's such a nice guy, you know, like, be willing to poke fun of himself like this. And I'm like, wait, isn't he a piece of shit?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess everyone's allowed to sort of be redeemed, isn't it? But, you know, that's a different topic for another time, isn't it? You know, like, when's too far sort of thing. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because he's lucky
Take
to have
the
another
artist
chance.
away from the
yeah,
art.
definitely. And I agree with that to a large degree. But isn't it? It's just weird, isn't it, that he's able to get this show? But if he'd committed these sort of crimes within the last 5 years or so, he probably wouldn't.
Yeah, I know. I do completely agree. I always think the same about Cheryl Cole.
Cheryl Cole?
She literally punched a woman in a toilet and called her a p***y and told her to fuck off. And now she's beloved by the whole of the UK nation.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And now you're going to have your first bleep swear word where you've got to try and keep the first bit in, but bleep the second
So that people
part.
know what I said, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I do agree, but it is a fun show. You know, another thing I love about it, Mike Tyson at one point goes to visit his brother, I use in quotation marks to help solve a mystery, and his brother is Neil deGrasse Tyson.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So they pretend in the show that they're brothers, and he's actually played by Neil deGrasse Tyson as well. Yeah, it's a very funny show. Highly recommend it.
Nice. What are we on now? Number 3?
Yeah, number 3.
My number 3 started the day as number 1.
Oh.
Yeah. It is Rick and Morty.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
Are you smart enough to understand Rick and Morty?
I don't know if you insulted me that I'm an idiot, or you're just saying how complex the show is.
No, I'm basically insulting all those fanboys who say, like, people basically say that the show's so intelligent, why are you liking it? Like, it's only meant to be liked by intellectuals, not you, which is absolutely dickish.
I'll be honest, I don't think it's that complicated.
No, nor do I.
I think, yes, it's got more intricacy than The Simpsons, maybe, let's say, but The Simpsons isn't trying to be super intricate. Does that make sense? Like, it's trying to be what it is.
Mm.
I just think there's a lot of brave storytelling in there. I think to have such an incredibly unlikable protagonist who literally is centered around the show is genius. You know, the fact that it works. I think the fact that you've got this classic because of his gun, you've literally got this sort of, you know, zany episode of the week. But even before they started having, you know, like overarching story arcs, like it has recently, like Evil Morty, it's still things carried through, and there were like minor changes between characters and things like that.
I think the first, spoiler alert, the first season, halfway through, where they suddenly destroy their planet and have to find another planet or another universe to sort of go live in, and they kill the Rick and Morty of that universe and bury him in the garden. Like, that's such bold storytelling.
Yeah, and action, and this is the thing that's can frustrate me with anime. Well, just comedies, I guess, live action or that. Is I find it difficult when shows just reset at the end of an episode. That's what I used to struggle with.
That in the past.
I struggled with Simpsons in that, I think, as well, because just nothing had any stakes or importance. Whereas even when it's not completely serialized, Rick and Morty, it is just, you know, a bit more like in the first season, and apparently what they're planning to do with the new season, where it's just, you know, zany episode of the week. Things still do carry through. You know, mistakes get brought back up again, or characters pop up again, and I just love that.
Oh yeah, characters have died, and then they're sort of showing in sort of teasers at the end of episodes
Mm.
and stuff like that. Yeah, no, I agree. I like that side of it as well, and it is just a fun show.
Yeah.
They you can clearly tell. So Justin Roiland, I think he appears at one point actually on Harmon Quest, but you can tell he's a great improviser, and a lot of what he says is just him improvising, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like that's how the I've forgotten what the actual exact title of it is, but you know the TV episodes that they do.
Yeah.
That's how they sort of came about. It's just him randomly improving random shit down the microphone.
Well, in fact, I'll say this point. I'm going to say later. I won't say it now. But favorite episode? Do you have a favorite episode before I tell you mine? Or do you want me to tell you mine whilst you think?
Yeah,
about it?
tell you yours. I'll have a think.
I think it's called Total Recall.
Yeah.
And it's the one where they've got those sort of like replicant things that or create false memories.
Yes, that's one of my favourite episodes.
It's so good. And then the twist, but the thing is, like, it's just a stupid animated show episode, you know, where they feel like, again, there's no stakes. But then when Mr. Poopy Butthole turns out to be real, I was genuinely devastated.
Yeah. No, I love that's a great episode, actually.
And yeah, it just, I don't know, just made me smile. And it's that, for me, that's a great introduction episode for people, I think, who aren't sure about if they'll like Rick and Morty. I think it
shows the absolute zaniness of it.
It does, but it also has the heart, I think, as well, with little things like that at the end.
Yeah. And also, it does show you quite well all the characters, like the fact that Jerry's so insecure in himself, Beth's like quite a tough woman, and she doesn't need anyone else. It shows you all their sides to it all.
Yeah, you get a lot from their character in such just in one episode. You're right, actually. So yeah, that's my favourite episode. Do you have yours?
You know, I'd actually pick that one probably. I've got a card game based on that episode as well.
No, wait, why the fuck have you told me that? I would have liked you so much more if I knew that.
You like so I've got a card game based on Total Recall.
You've just gone up 1 point.
Cheers. Yeah, basically it's the same game. So you have a load of cards in front of you. You have to try and guess which one's the imposter and who's real. And there's certain things like I think what like you might know, but you're not allowed to share that information with the person next to you. It's been a long time since I played it because we've not been able to see anyone. But then there's also like a harder version of the game where like some of you might be imposters around the table as well as the cards in the middle, and it just adds that extra twist to it. Because I think if you kill 3 real people, obviously you lose the game.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Right, should we move on to our number 2?
Yeah, let's do it. My number 2 is a show that, considering you said you like shows that sort of continue on from each other, this one it's got overarching storylines across both seasons of the show. So there's only been 2 seasons so far, and with each one having real repercussions as well to the actual show. And it's a show called Harley Quinn, based on the character Harley Quinn from Batman. So you can find this on Channel 4 if you've not. Well, you could find it on Channel 4. It's now. I went to go rewatch it recently. It's actually been removed from 4OD for some reason, but I imagine it will come back eventually. But it stars. I can never pronounce her name, so I'm going to attempt it. But Kaylee Kukoiwo from Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
She stars as Harley Quinn.
I can imagine her voice working for it.
It works really well, actually. It's the voice I have now in my head. And she's decided to ditch Joker because he's an absolute joker, and he clearly doesn't love her. I think he just abandons her when, in a fight against Batman, she gets taken to Arkham, and then he never comes to sort of free her from Arkham. And while in Arkham, she befriends Poison Ivy, and they sort of have a really great friendship in the show. And she decides she wants to join the Legion of Doom and make it as her own sort of supervillain. So she forms a crew involving Clayface, Killer Shark, and Dr. Psycho. Dr. Psycho, this is definitely going to be a bleep, but Dr. Psycho, so he's shown on TV to begin with. He's part of the Legion of Doom as is on his own without needing a team or anything. He's part of it. And he's in a fight with Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman does something like kicks him or punches him or something like that. Can't remember exactly what. And while being filmed on the news network, he shouts out, "Oh, that fucking hurt you." And then everyone just stops and stares at him. And the Legion of Doom kicks him out because they don't want to be associated with someone who's so evil. It's just really quite funny. They just gets kicked out for calling her this. And it's like the worst than any like murder or anything that anyone on the Legion of Doom's done. And like they tried to get him to issue an apology to Wonder Woman. He has to try and prove he's not misogynist. It's really, really funny. But yeah, the whole show is just really, really good, and it sort of the whole sort of season 1 arc is sort of her trying to become part of the Legion of Doom, and the Joker also being a bit of a side character, being a bit sort of like twisty with everything. I really don't want to spoil too much because it's a show that I really recommend for everyone. And for those, it's done in the same animation style as the old classic Batman cartoons from our youth, which I really like.
Oh, that's cool.
But like Batman and what's his name, Commissioner Gordon, their relationship is absolutely hilarious because Commissioner Gordon at one point just gives up on life because Batman doesn't really want to be his friend. Commissioner Gordon's a raging alcoholic in the show and just always drinking. Batman just gets annoyed with him, like, because at one point Commissioner Gordon just wants to use tanks, and Batman's like, no tanks, and then he calls up Commissioner Gordon and realizes that Commissioner Gordon's riding in a tank. It's just a really fun show. Highly recommend it. And
that's so odd. I've never seen DC sort of take the piss out of itself.
Oh no, it massively takes the piss out of itself in the whole show. It's really, that's what I think I quite like about it, is the fact that nothing takes itself seriously. At one point, like, Harley Quinn gets a nemesis, and she's really excited, thinking it's going to be Batman. And suddenly Robin appears, but he's voiced by Jacob Tremblay. He's quite a big child actor, isn't he? I can't think what he's been in though, but I know he's been in a lot. I think he was in the Room, which won the Oscar. Did it win an Oscar, or Brie Larson won the Oscar?
Yeah, well, either way, it's an Oscar-winning film.
But Robin appears, and he's just this squeaky-voiced teen who is talking about being his Harley Quinn's nemesis, and Harley Quinn's getting annoyed because everyone keeps on talking about Robin as being her nemesis, and it's very funny. Really recommend the show. Like, go search for it if you've never watched it. And season 2, the ending, oh my god! Like, if they'd ended it there, it would have been bold. Not bold because it was a fantastic ending, but I'm glad that there's another season coming.
What's it on again?
Channel 4. But like I said, it's been taken off this Channel 4 OD for some reason. But I imagine it'll come back.
Yeah, it'll just probably get ready for they'll probably do it near season 2 to try and get more views.
Exactly. Yeah, I highly recommend it.
Nice one. So, my number 2, I want to hear after I spoke about it a bit, where it would have been on your number 5, because I'm sure you would have picked this, but you knew I would, so you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And it is Solar Opposites.
Yeah, so I introduced you to this show, didn't I, on our first meetup that we were ever allowed inside? Yeah, go on. I'll let you talk about it. It's your pick.
Well, Solar Opposites is created by one of the creators from Rick and Morty. And it's very, very similar in a lot of ways. The animation style is similar. The humour is overall similar. But I think what's nice for me, I think some people maybe don't like it as much. Maybe like some of those kind of hipstery ones, like you mentioned, like you've got to be super intelligent to get Rick and Morty, even though you don't, is the fact that it's not as dark as Rick and Morty. It's more light-hearted, and it's easier to digest, I think, in terms of like you could just binge it all and have a good time and then just switch off and do something else. Whereas sometimes Rick and Morty can almost feel heavy after a while.
Have you finished both seasons?
No, I've just not had time. It's so busy. But I'm looking forward to watching season 2. And then what's really, really cool about it is this idea. I think I spoke about this.
Have you actually said what the show's about?
Solar Opposite. Oh, yeah. So it's about an alien planet blows up, and they all go on essentially life pods to try and find a new planet to either take over or sort of fix up there and move on somewhere else. And they crash land on Earth on a house. And they've been there at the start of the show. I think they've been there about a year, and they're essentially trying to either, 1, fix the ship so they can go somewhere else, or 2, have this little creature that they have mutate and terraform the planet for them.
Yeah, the pupa.
Yeah. And it's nice because you've got an A plot and a B plot, like Rick and Morty. Like with the A plot, Rick and Morty is Rick and Morty on their adventure, and then the B plot is normally like Jerry and stuff like that. You've got the 2 adult aliens, who are normally the A plot, and then you've got the 2 sort of teenage aliens, who are normally at high school, and they're the B plot.
So they're replicants of the adults.
Yeah, exactly. But what's great is because they also have a C plot, which ends up being the best part of the show, and it's sort of how you sold it to me.
It's sort of hinted at during the B plot occasionally, and it doesn't really come massively into play for a little bit, does it?
No, like I say, it starts off as a B plot thing for the first 2 episodes, and then just becomes its own C plot that's sort of completely disconnected to the rest of the show. So the teenage boy gets a shrink ray and starts shrinking people that annoy him. So like one guy farts in the elevator and blames it on him. I think his name's Corvo. No,
Corvo's the main
Terry
alien.
Corvo. Yumulak.
Yes.
Yumulak, someone farts in the elevator and blames it on him, so he shrinks him. And he has this wall full of tiny boxes that have these tiny people in.
It's almost like each one's like a mini hamster cage.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I'd say actually more like an ant farm.
Yeah, exactly. And then, as the show goes on, you see that they're actually building like their own little civilization and have like a hierarchy. A bit like one of your favourite Netflix TV shows with the train.
Snowpiercer.
Yeah, Snowpiercer. A lot of similarities with that.
Actually, yeah, you are right. There is.
And I was telling my friend, actually, I've read a book called Wool that I think's getting made into a film, and it's so similar. Like, so similar.
Just about like the lower downs trying to overthrow.
Yeah, the uppers, yeah. And, and then episode 7, the penultimate episode of season 1, the whole episode is completely based around the Wall and trying to topple the sort of corrupt leader of the Wall. It's so good. Like I say, for people, it's worth watching just for the Wall episode.
And like the whole show is surreal humour, absolutely surreal humour. The Wall, very, very little comedy moments in it.
I nearly cried. Like at one point.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It really is. Like, words can't explain how. Like, so I remember trying to explain it to you about how good the Wall episode was, but trying not to explain it because I didn't want to spoil anything about it.
I think in total across the first season, there's 35 minutes of the Wall, and most of that is from one 22-minute episode that's just the Wall. But in that 35 minutes, they set up a story that's like a complete movie, and they've actually done better world building, better character development, and more heartfelt moments than some genuine blockbuster films I've seen. Like, I can't recommend Solar Opposites on Disney Plus enough just for the Wall. Because I'd say that the sort of the main storyline, so to speak, the alien, is like a 6.5, 7 out of 10 for me. It's nice, it's, light-hearted, it's easy, but it's nothing amazing.
Yeah, easy to drop in and
out
of it.
But the Wall part is a 10 out of 10 for me. Like, complete 10 out of 10.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Where would you have put Solar Opposites if you knew because you knew I was going to pick it?
It probably would have been my number 1 or number 2 choice.
Nice.
I don't know. I'm hoping there's something else that appears, but we'll mention it if not. But yeah, great shout, because it's one of my favourite shows at the moment. Right. I've rewatched both seasons probably like 3 times already.
It's so good, isn't it?
Yeah. And you find stuff in it, in each episode that you didn't previously.
Yeah.
And that's what I quite like about those sort of shows, especially the Wall bits. Because something that you pointed out that I didn't realise is during the whole Wall episode, you see the main characters in the background, and they're like going to the zoo or something.
And you can work out exactly what goes on from it, even though they don't talk; they're just in the background.
And I just never noticed it.
It's so clever, so clever. And do you know what else is interesting? Because it's not Dan Harmon. It's the other half of the Rick and Morty creators. What's his name again? Justin Roiland?
Justin Roiland.
And he always comes across as the bit of the crazier, zanier, weirder one. So you'd think it'd be almost like looser as a show, like those TV episodes he does. But actually, it's in some ways tighter than Rick and Morty. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Which I find really odd. It's more restrained, but I think it works.
No, completely agree.
Right, I could talk about Solar Opposites forever, so before we end up with our first 2-hour show, should we move on to our honourable mentions?
Yeah.
How many have you got this week?
I'll go with one.
Oh, wow.
This one got knocked off my top 5 list by Mike Tyson Mysteries.
Yep.
So I think it's only fair.
Yeah.
It's a show that only lasted for 1 season. Was written by Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, and Bill Lawrence. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, they did the Lego Movie, and
Kick-Ass?
Spider-Verse. No, they didn't do
Did one of them do Kick-Ass?
I'm not aware of that if they did. I'm going to quickly Google it while we're on the thing. Kick-Ass movie. Matthew Vaughn did.
What about the writer? Is that also?
The writer was Jonathan Ross's wife.
Oh.
Jane Goldman, yeah. Thought it was. I knew that fact before I looked it up. So not Kick-Ass. But yeah, so they did... I think they did a bit of Community as well.
Right.
And they did a bit of those episodes. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Some great movies, to be fair. And Bill Lawrence, creator of Scrubs.
Oh, I love Scrubs.
Yeah. So what the show's about is it's set in a high school, and it's sort of very similar to sort of proper sort of like high school dramas like The OC and Beverly Hills 90210, Dawson's Creek, and all that sort of stuff. And in the high school, it's made up of clones of famous figures. So sort of laboratory has made clones of all these people like Abraham Lincoln, Joan of Arc, Gandhi, Cleopatra, and JFK. Those are the 5 main characters that you encounter in the show. And they put them all in this high school together. And it's just about their little drama and what happens. And Abraham Lincoln's the main character. He's played by Will Forte. And it's just a very, very funny show. And just what they get up to. It got cancelled very early. Like I say, after one season. I can't remember exactly what happens in the final episode, but someone's seen kissing someone else, and it's a big like, oh my god, what the hell? And then suddenly they're all frozen in stasis, and they're like, tune in next season. But it got cancelled, and I think that was because of their depiction of Gandhi. Gandhi wasn't very liked. Once India realised, found out about Gandhi in the show, Gandhi had basically reinvented himself over the summer to be a cool, laid back, drinking sort of like party goer, and obviously people didn't like the idea of Gandhi being depicted as going to parties and stuff like that. And they suggested to the network, okay, we'll get rid of Gandhi for the next season. Like, we won't do it. But I just don't think it ever happened. However, it's been recently announced that it's going to be rebooted for HBO Max.
Oh, that's
for
awesome.
2 seasons. So, despite being cancelled back in 2000, I think it was, it's quite an old show.
Well, I guess it helps that they've all become bigger.
Yeah, 2002. Yeah, and since then, it stars loads of Scrubs alumni. So, Nicole Sullivan, who played that character who got bit by rabies, or not bit by rabies, but had rabies, and they gave all of her organs to all those people who died.
Yeah.
She was a very annoying character in the show. But she plays Joan of Arc. Kristen Miller, who plays Jordan from Scrubs.
Oh, yeah.
She's Cleopatra.
I think that's Bill Lawrence's wife, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So she plays Cleopatra. Zach Braff's in it, as well as Sarah Chalke. They play these... Sarah Chalke plays Marie Antoinette, and Zach Braff plays Paul Revere. You got Neil Flynn, who's the janitor. He plays Julius Caesar, Buddy Holly. Donald Faison plays Martin Luther King Jr. Like, it's got basically all of the Scrub stars in it.
That's really
and it's
cool.
just a great, really, really enjoyable show, but it didn't last long enough to actually have an input to make a list, in my opinion. It died before it got anywhere, but I'm glad to hear it's coming back.
Oh, nice one. I look forward to that. I think I'll wait for the reboot then.
Yeah, they're all returning the original creators, so hopefully it'll be good. Right, what's your honourable mention?
It's a show that I'm not a particularly big fan of now.
Okay, well, what was the point of mentioning that?
Okay, sorry, we'll move on then. Right, move on to one. But I remember watching it a lot as a child. Again, a bit of a gateway show into adult animation. Like, I don't know if I would have watched things like Rick and Morty and Solar Opposite if I didn't used to watch this, if that makes sense. Sort of like normalised adult entertainment, adult animation. And that is Family Guy.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be that.
Dropping
quality, isn't there?
Oh yeah, I'm not a particularly big fan now, and the cutaways became too ridiculous. And like one of my favourite parts of Imagination Land is they show you how they make the storylines for Family Guy. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Where they've got the manatees who pick like a famous actor from like the 80s or something, some sort of like date setting or something, and then a food item. And the manatees pick like William Dafoe cheese and like a date at a restaurant or something like that. And then they put the sketch together, and it's like, oh my god, that literally could have been made by Family Guy creators. It's like that. It feels exactly like how they do it. And the cutaways are more forced than my segues sometimes as well.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's grown beyond what it was originally, I think. Yeah. There has been some good episodes recently. There was a great episode in The Safe with just Brian and Stewie. It's just the two of them, and it talks about sort of depression and all that sort of stuff, and it was a great episode. But other than that, it's just been a bit same old. When it really started to get into me, I don't know if you watched as far as this, but whenever they had cut to Conway Twitty.
To who?
Conway Twitty. He's a country singer. I'm guessing you didn't even get that far.
No, I don't think I did.
In like they did it as a one-time gag, it's like randomly sort of like the episode sort of like, instead of going to commercials, you go, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conway Twitty. And it cut to him like singing a little bit of his song. But then they repeated it like 3 or 4 times. And the final time they played like a whole performance of a song for 3-4 minutes. And it was like, you've clearly run out of ideas for this episode.
Yeah, it just
like it's not got enough steam here. Yeah. And that's what I felt sometimes the cutaways ended up being. Massive fillers to get to the end of the episode.
Yeah, whereas before they were like few and far between, but they were funny because it was just like, what the fuck? Ha ha ha. classic Family Guy, but not too often. Whereas, it became too much. I saw an interesting video. It's a really interesting YouTube channel. I think I might have talked about it before. I think it's called Entertainment Elk, and he does two series: The Death of a Show. So, have I told you about this before?
No, I've never heard of it.
It's really good. So he does like When the Office Died. So he looks at like 3 or 4 episodes, that people famously say this is when the quality dropped, this is when the show died, and then he'll make it's like a video essay as well, so it's really well thought out. He'll give his argument for when he thinks. So like, obviously a lot of people say Office died when Michael left, but he actually said it was Jim and Pam's wedding and gave loads of decent reasons why. And he also did for like Parks and Recs. He said actually Parks and Recs is an amazing ending, but it started so poorly. So he said, well, what's the episode of when it was born? And he did a Family Guy one. And he said it's probably when Stewie kills Lois episode.
Oh yeah,
that was.
It became very self-aware sort of thing.
Yeah, and then after that, it just sort of lost its way. And I'd probably agree with that, because I still watched a few more seasons maybe after that, but it was never as good. Whereas I really enjoyed all the seasons before that part.
Yeah. No, I agree. Did you know that they released, so this shows that sort of like the gags were becoming very sort of forced. They released Seth MacFarlane's Cavalcade, the cartoon comedy at one point, which was basically a bunch of cutaways that never made it into episodes. And it shows they almost sort of like were forcing the cutaways to be in the episodes because they'd come up with these ideas.
What, that they like in the writer's room, obviously.
Yeah, and the fact that they couldn't even shoehorn them in and just did a sort of straight to DVD release of all the additional content. It shows it, really.
Yeah. So it has its place, and I think it did a lot for animated comedies, but there's just been so many better versions since then that have sort of perfected the brand, in my opinion, or the concept, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Can I quickly give a shout out to Archer, that also scored very lowly in the poll with the audience? Because honestly, if you guys haven't watched it, watch it. And if you struggle to get past after they, in quotation marks, killed Archer, continue watching, because it does get better. I promise you.
I remember having a really long conversation playing Minecraft with you about you talking about your passion for Archer.
It's so good, but I've not included it in my list for some reason, and I love it. I think it's because it's not that obscure either.
Yeah, it's a bit more of a simpler watch. If that makes sense.
But it's very, very clever. So, quick honourable mention for that, because I suddenly realised that it's not going to get a mention, and it really does. Maybe I'll create a category at some point for us so that I can especially mention it.
Right, moving on to number 1.
My number 1 is, you know what, after I said about Solar Opposites, will it be my number 1? I think this one still would be my number 1 choice. Like, even if I was allowed to pick mainstream choices, I think this would be here, because it really is a great show that's been running since 2003, which has been some time, and it only got cancelled last year, but I'll talk about that in a second. And there's only been 81 episodes as well over the space of that.
Okay.
So how many years is that? 17 years and 7 seasons. And it's a show called The Venture Brothers. It is honestly, so again, a show that you can catch on Channel 4. Every single episode is on there still. Promise you that. You can go away and watch that now if you want to. And it stars the adventures of this family called the Venture family. So Thaddeus Rusty Venture was an old sort of, what's the word for him? But an old sort of like child mystery solver type person. I can't think of the exact words that they use in the show. Say again?
Child detective?
Child detective. Yes, that's the word that they use. He was an old child detective, and he had a cartoon based on his life, and his dad sort of was this big scientist and everything. And he's now grown up, and he's got kids called Hank and Dean Venture, who themselves are child detectives, but they're not really. They're both very simple. And they've also got a bodyguard called Brock Sampson, who's voiced by slowing down while I quickly look, Patrick Warburton, who plays Joe from Family Guys.
Oh yeah.
And it's basically just their misadventures, and there's this supervillain called the Monarch who he absolutely hates Rusty Venture with a passion, always trying to get him. But there's rules that they have to sort of follow being villains, and it was all sort of created when Rusty was younger. And I really don't think I'm selling it that well, but it's so good. It parodies so many different things. Like the most recent series before it got cancelled parodied like the sort of super teams of recent years. With at one point they sort of the Blue Morpho became a thing, and he was a parody of the Green Hornet. And it's just a fantastic comedy. And each episode, it really does have an impact on the previous one. and it's so good in that sort of respect. And there's some really sort of dark themes that happen there, but also absolutely hilarious at the same time. Just really recommend it. And I'm annoyed I didn't write a speech on how good it is, because I don't think I'm selling it as well as it should be sold. But it's honestly fantastic.
Well,
and they spend so long over each episode as well.
Like I said, you've explained well sort of the concept of it.
Yeah.
Sell me, I guess, on the sort of the quick emotional pitch. Like, why is it that high? So without like what it's about, what is it about that show that makes it so good for you?
It's sort of the family element of it all, and sort of the fact that Rusty's had this life in which he didn't like when he was younger, and he's trying to get his kids not part of that life. Like, that's not a massive part of it. It is an all-out comedy at the same time.
But there's actual
growth
so well done. And heartwarming moments within it.
Yeah, and the characters grow up as well. Like Hank and Dean, they're in like high school when the series begins, and then they have their prom at some point in the show. And then in the final episode, they've all moved to New York. Well, not the final episode, the final season, they've all moved to New York, and they're off doing other jobs in college and university and stuff like that. So the actual characters age as well.
That's interesting.
Brock Sampson is the biggest badass of all time. So I'm going to pause the podcast here for a split second and send you a clip that I will share on our Instagram account. Just got to Google it very quickly. So the setup to this scene is the boys have been stolen by a woman who claims to be their mother, and Brock Sampson's trying to get them back. Right, I've just shared it with you on WhatsApp. And for those who don't know, have a look at this clip on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. I'll post it on there. And it's just the best and coolest way to enter a car ever. That's the only lead up you need to it.
So this guy who's waiting with a sword on his belt, is he a Venture Boy?
No, with a sword on his belt.
So yeah, with like a dagger or sword. He's got like a black t-shirt on.
Oh yeah, no, that's Brock Sampson. He's their bodyguard.
Right, that is cool. That
the best way to enter a car ever. Brock Sampson is just the ultimate kill machine. At some point though, he has his license to kill taken off of him, and he struggles with that. But yeah, it's honestly such a good thing, and annoyingly, it got cancelled. So the last season was in 2018, I want to say, and then they announced it got cancelled earlier last year. They'd already started season 8 and started writing it and everything. However, they recently announced, so in 2020 is when they announced its cancellation. They announced just the other week that they're going to be making a movie to finish off all the plot lines. So thankfully, we're going to see an ending to the show.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It shows it must have a proper following.
Oh yeah, I'd say it's got quite a big following, but not massive, because honestly, the fact, like I say, only 81 episodes over the space of 16 years, that's minuscule really. But it shows that they don't want to release episodes if they're not good quality. They want to sort of put out good content, and it really does show. It's also, I read recently that it's the last animation that's actually completely hand-drawn. Instead of using a tablet or things like that, it's completely hand-drawn.
What I like about this as well is, again, the reason we made this show is this concept of the top 5. It's not just because it's an interesting concept, although it is, because I genuinely use this idea of like when I'm like, oh, I want to get into something new, or I'm out of ideas for what I normally watch. I think my top 5 will probably just be go, oh yeah, I love that show, or oh yeah, I remember that. Whereas I think you're giving people genuine, here's a show you've probably never heard of. And, you're going to have someone who's going to get people find a new show they end up loving. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Well, I'll say an example. I was speaking to a friend I haven't spoken to in a very long time. Because I used to work with him, but he moved to Bristol. Mm-hmm. And he posted a picture of some ale on Instagram and said about different flavours. I said, how amazing would it be if they invented an all-day dinner, a 3-course meal sort of ale, so you could taste all 3 flavours as it went down. But anyway, that's by the by. He then laughed at that, and then he said, "Oh, by the way, I'm really loving your podcast. Really enjoyed the latest episode on Netflix shows, and I watched Middleditch and Swartz. I'm not into comedy shows like that, but I really enjoyed it.
Oh, nice
recommendation that we gave, and someone's gone away and watched.
That's so cool. Yeah. That.
So thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Andy. You've made our day.
There's your shout out for the day. Yeah. So highly recommend Venture Bros. I know I probably didn't sell it as well as I really wanted to, but if you start watching it, you'll understand why. It's a bit of a difficult concept to try and sell. It's got a lot of different sort of genres in there, but it does work so well.
No, I think, if it's been number 1, I've got to give it a go.
Yeah. I think give it a bit of time as well. It's one of those sort of shows. It gets better the longer it goes on.
Well, and with that, then you're going to have to give my number one a go, because I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Oh, okay. So there's going to be a show that I'm going to have to mention at the end.
So my number one is a show called Happy Tree Friends.
Is it
No,
actually?
it's not. It's Invincible on Amazon
Oh.
Prime. What a fucking show! Oh my god, I can't stop
Yes.
thinking about it.
So this was the show that I was so the two shows I was really hoping you'd mention would be Solar Opposites and Invincible.
How would Invincible not have been your number one? Like, it's so good.
I think it would have been my number
My
three.
biggest sell for anyone who's listening to this, who's not really into animated shows, and congratulations if you got all the way to number one, and you're not even into animated shows. It's like, fuck it, I'll listen. My missus hates animated shows, really, on the whole. She's not a big fan of stuff like that. But I told her the concept. So I watched the first episode. Did I watch it with you? The first? No, I didn't.
Did I tell you about it?
I knew about it, but I'd forgotten about it, if that makes sense. And then you told me, oh, yes, and I watched it, it's really good. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then I was like, fuck, it's so good. So I watched the first episode, and I tell her about it, and she's like, actually, that sounds really interesting. Watch the first episode again with me. If I like it, we can watch it. I ended up watching it over 2 or 3 days, and it was just so good.
Yeah. I had another one of my friends texting me about it because I told him as well. And each episode, he just wanted to know, like, kept on texting me about it. It's like, I can't text you about it because I'm going to spoil something. Like, you really need to watch all episodes before I start talking about this show. Like, it's so good. Words can't put into words. It's insanely good. So, it's about a boy. Yeah, do you want to explain what it's about? It's your choice.
So, Invincible,
I'm just passionate about it too.
Is a show that's based off, really, the Justice League and the DC universe. But it's
an adaptation of a comic as well, isn't it? By Robert Kirkman, who does The Walking Dead.
And so look at, I guess, is what if this was in the real world, not just, a superhero world. So what happens then is we follow a character who is the son of, I guess, the version of Superman.
Yeah.
Who
are you trying to talk about this without giving many spoilers?
Exactly. That's why I keep sort of pausing, because I'm going to say something that I know I shouldn't say.
So this version of Superman is called Omni-Man.
And his son essentially hasn't had powers his whole life, but they're going to come, and they come quite early in the first episode. So it's sort of looking at it from his point of view as he sort of is finding his way in the world as a new young superhero called Invincible. Whilst also looking at Omni-Man's sort of presence in the world as this sort of Superman, godlike, the hero of heroes character. And I guess it's as well as look at, like, the family life of Superman. He's got a wife, he's got a child, he's not just a superhero all the time. And like I said, without spoiling things, because there's a huge spoiler at the end of the first episode. That just makes
don't give up after the credits.
Yeah, exactly.
Continue watching,
and then I think you'll be hooked once you've done that. But it's
because I wasn't until those end credits.
I wasn't massively, but I don't know why I had in my head. I feel like from the trailer I'd maybe got that idea that something maybe similar, or maybe the trailer showed it. I can't remember, but
I didn't. I don't think I ever watched the trailer. I knew nothing about the show going in, and I refused to read about it as it was going on. It's
a show that, because there's so many things to spoil, I really can't talk about. I can't sell it. It just sounds shit saying it out loud, because so much of it is about that. The show really starts at the end of the first episode, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a bit of a mystery going on there as well, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it builds up a mystery for the rest of the season of why.
I'm trying to get the cast list.
Well, I've got it here. Because you've got Sandra Oh, obviously was amazing in Grey's Anatomy and Killing Eve. You've got Stephen Yeun, who plays the main character, who was from The Walking Dead, and he played Glenn. You've got J.K. Simmons, the absolute.
Who me and my friend laughed about, like, when he was texting about. It's like, do you think J.K. Simmons has, like, a clause in his contract? If there's any mustachioed man, he has to play him.
I don't. I think J.K. Simmons is now big enough that they give his characters a mustache.
Do you know, that was my friend's response as well.
But I tell you what,
he goes into offices of people like drawing cartoons and stuff, and he's like, "Hold on a second, I want to play this guy. Give him a mustache."
Well, I don't think he would have got this role without Whiplash. Have you seen Whiplash? Because he's incredible.
I haven't, but I've heard it's great. Yeah. Anyway, cast list.
Then you've got Gillian Jacobs from Community.
Yeah.
You've got Walton Goggins from Justified, who I fucking love. Started rewatching Justified. You've got Andrew Reynolds, Reynolds?
Yeah, he was from Book of Mormon. He's a musical actor.
Yeah, he also... What have I seen him in there? That's not what I know him from.
He was in Big Mouth, another great cartoon.
Why Him?
Oh, okay.
I think... And then...
That Daniel Radcliffe? No, James Franco.
Yeah, James Franco.
And Bryan Cranston, yeah.
What else have I seen him in? How I Met Your Mother?
Okay.
Girls, that's what I know him from. I know him from the TV show Girls.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there's quite a few, probably more. But I don't want to jump out.
Well, I'm going to say a few more that, in my opinion, you've missed. Marshall Ali.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome.
Zazie Beetz, Jonathan Groff.
Did you say Tracy Beak?
No, Zazie Beetz. She plays Domino from What's My Jig?
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Mark Hamill's in it. Zachary Quinto, Jason Mantzoukas,
Clancy Brown.
Seth Rogen. Like, it's insane, the cast list of this show. And some of them appear for just 1 or 2 lines. Like, Seth Rogen's character is barely in it. But you can see, you get an idea he's going to be a big character in season 2.
You mentioned Zachary Quinto, by the way.
Yeah, as Robot.
And also, Robot, by the way, has got to be one of the best sort of characters I've seen in a show ever.
And a great art.
Yeah, great art.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to say one thing that isn't I'm going to try and say it without spoiling anything.
And then I'll tell you if you delete it or not.
Yeah, there's a big battle at the end of the show. As you know, it's a superhero show, so of course there's going to be fights and battle scenes. This battle scene is everything that Avengers Endgame wanted to be, which is insane to say because I loved Endgame. I feel like the fight in this massive city, there's real casualties there, and the main character, Invincible, is unable to save people. Like, at one point, there's a girl falling from a building, and he's unable to save her. And at the end, he just pulls out an arm of this girl that he's just been holding on to. Like, it's really brutal. And then there's a bit of more of a fight scene that sort of on in a train station.
Oh yeah.
And basically, Invincible just goes through this train because he is invincible. He can sort of take the damage. Goes through this train, completely destroying this train, and you see all the sort of civilians being completely ripped up and destroyed as he goes through.
But that's what I mean by it's like a superhero sort of show that looks at what it'd be really like. You know, the collateral damage of these, you know, beings that are so powerful.
I'd say, actually, if you look at Boys and want to take it one step further, that's what Invincible kind of is in terms of collateral damage.
It's a better version of Boys.
Yeah.
Well,
and I think
Boys,
he can do it because
Boys
it's animated.
Is the human look at what would heroes in the real world look like. And it also looks at, I guess, most of the heroes being dicks and abusing their power, whereas Invincible looks more at the superhero side, I guess, of it humanises the heroes, doesn't it, I guess, without just making them all bad guys like it does in Boys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, highly recommend this show. It's on Amazon Prime. Go watch it now, everyone. Yeah. Watch one episode of Venture Brothers, then one episode of Invincible. One episode. I don't think you'll be able to watch less than one episode of Invincible.
What I would say is I think Invincible works for anyone at any level. Does that make sense? I think even if you're not into superhero films, even if you're not into animation, I think you would still enjoy Invincible. It's a great show generally, great writing, great acting.
Yeah. There's times when it can seem a bit slow, but stick with it.
100%.
I'm forgetting that. Might rewatch it.
Yeah, I might rewatch it.
I watched it with my little boy at the times. I was thinking, like, I'm not sure I should be watching this with him.
Lots of bright colours, lots of red.
Yeah, that's the way I kept on justifying it to myself. It's like, at the moment, it's sensory for him. He doesn't understand what this is.
But if he turns into a serial killer, it's your fault now.
Yeah, 100%.
That body counts on me.
Right, great list there.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
that one. Education.
And I hope I've given a list of different shows there that, because I've watched every episode of every one that you've said to me, because I am a loser. I still watch Family Guy even if I don't enjoy it that much, because I just find, I don't know what it is about adult animation, I just enjoy watching it. It's easy to stick on in the background sometimes and I don't need to pay attention to it.
Definitely, I understand. I like, for me, I like animation when I'm not feeling well.
Yeah. But yeah, really enjoyed making that list, and I really hope people go away and watch these shows that they haven't heard of before and come back and actually have said they've enjoyed them. Yeah,
let us know, because follow us on social media at Mammon Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn now.
LinkedIn, are we? But... Getting all those job adverts. Also, if you do like us, give us a review as well on Spotify, Apple, and all those shows. It helps with our numbers, and we really would appreciate it.
Oh yeah, I don't think we've ever asked that before, have we? That probably
No,
we should
we haven't.
be. This is how shit we are at That probably should have been the thing we were pushing from day one.
Yeah, rate and review.
Hey, yeah, you know that actual platforms that we're on? Yeah.
Yeah, don't just follow us on social media.
Oh.
No, I thought about that the other day and realised that actually we should be asking for rating and reviews if you've enjoyed the podcast. So please do if you have enjoyed it. And honestly, if you're going to go away and just watch one of the shows we've mentioned today, let it be Invincible.
Yeah.
That'll be the one show that I'll really push.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah. Right, next week, we've got a choice because we pushed back, and I'll let you make that choice, Mike.
No pressure.
Yeah. So we can go with open world games
Yes.
or fictional mothers. Here's my thought about open world games. We've done online games.
Yeah, I'm happy to go fictional mothers.
Yeah, I think fictional mothers. And then in 2 weeks after that, it's Father's Day, so we can go with fictional fathers.
Okay, let's do it.
Right. So that'll put us back on track.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry again for that week's delay. But
I've got an idea as well, actually. Switch up honourable mentions for the next two podcasts then, and do honourable mothers and honourable fathers that piss us off.
Okay. Unhonourable mentions.
Yeah, yes, unhonourable mentions.
Okay, so on the 6th of June is fictional mothers. On the 20th of June is fictional fathers. However, on the 30th of June, we've got something a bit different. Not 30th, 13th of June, sorry.
It's football, baby.
It is football. So this is a topic I've got no idea about, baby. Do you know what I haven't shoehorned in this week?
What's that?
Bingo!
Bingo! That was so good.
Anyway, yeah.
Did it make you laugh when you were editing it?
Yeah, it really did. I was like, oh god, did I really just say bingo as though it was a normal thing to say?
Can you hear my pause as I'm clearly like processing it?
Yeah, I definitely can. Yeah. So anyway, on the 13th of June, we've got top 5 football matches. However, I'm not really into football, so I haven't got a top 5 football matches. I'm not sure how popular this episode's going to be either. But I think stick with us. If you enjoy us, you'll enjoy the episode. It's a bit different to what we've normally done.
Well,
but we've got a guest in that week.
Yeah, I think it'll be nice though, because this is where you're just taking a pure hosting role and just leading the conversation, asking the questions.
Which I think from someone who isn't into football could be quite interesting.
Yeah.
Trying to get viewpoints from that side of it.
Exactly. I just love learning about anything.
Yeah. So do you want to say who our guest is going to be?
Yeah. This is a big coup, and our numbers could really boost from this. It's Wayne Rooney.
So we're genuinely excited about this. It's massive.
So you'll have to stick through for next week for that one.
Absolutely.
In 2 weeks. In 3 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
No, it's my friend Sean. So we are going to be looking at...
Your friend Sean, if he's listening to this episode, is like, what the fuck? I thought they've got me! They managed to get Wayne Rooney!
So yeah, that would have been cool, but he was apparently busy.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
Washing his implanted hair, apparently.
Yeah, there we go. Going again. Yeah. Right. Shall we end our weekly ramble?
Yeah, let's do it.
And
this is the end of the show.
Bingo.
Now we must go.
Bye all.
See you later, everyone.
Right, I have stopped recording. Is that what I say every time?
Yeah, sometimes I edit that into the podcast.